Do you agree with what former WWE talent Jonathan Coachman has to say about Tony Khan and AEW? Coachman says, I heard from JD talk about this, and it's something that gets lost in the endless. I can't confirm 100% yet. In the longest negotiations in the history of wrestling. Tony, it's all well and good if you get a deal done, but are you going to be making money after the deal is done? With the low attendance numbers and lack of live events, is the TV deal going to help you be profitable, or is it still just spending daddy's money and avoiding all the real questions? Exactly, that's what it is. Because Tony hasn't and never answers anything directly. It's like fantasy wrestling with a billionaire son. Sit there and answer the questions. We want to support it because the more companies, the more my friends can make a living in this industry, but there has been nothing on your side of it. And yeah, it's true. So Dav, who used to be Dav Boro, but I buried him. Just kidding. The party on this app when Vince McMahon dies is going to be legendary. And then this guy goes, can he take Hunter with him?
Jesus.
That guy is a prick, dude. Completely sickos.
But all we say is Tony Khan can't book, and we're constantly attacking him, and everything's under constant attack.
But Dax FTR said some about whatever. But it's about JD from NY, and JD from NY responds and goes, Dax is here addressing podcaster JD from NY. Meanwhile, his company is running a building in New York City where they did 21,000 to turn around 3 years later and do less than 6,000, but JD from NY is the problem. True that. I don't even know what Dax said unless someone tagged me in it, but
I was what Dax was saying. Just I think it was even. I don't think it was a tweet. I think it was a quote from the interview where they talked about podcasters. Both him and I think we might have even covered the quote the last time, where him and Cash were both making stupid comments about, because that's all they can do, And they're is talked about. They say podcasters because they don't want to piss off Cornette specifically, but that's I mean, they're talking mostly about Bischoff and Cornette.
So Machiavelli DTA said Kate and her bitch. So they're talking about Braun versus Bronson has reached the point where they're making AI promo vignettes where both guys turn into Godzilla. Yeah, that's a good idea. The New Day continue to have problems, and the women's division can't seem to get out of the shadow of Dirty Dom's mullet. Jey Uso and Braun Breaker are in the main event. It hasn't quite started yet. If Jey Uso wins, everything sucks. Let's talk about it.
Jesus, they're just terrible people.
What a couple of marks who just don't. This isn't real. They don't really feel this way.
No, they're literally trying to stir that narrative, because that's why they have their names. They even in their Twitter names they make sure they reference AEW.
So Drain Bamager says this page rebranding to AEW on Fox will be glorious to watch. LMAO, that aged like milk. Acting as if WWE would say nothing and give their competition free exposure. That is hilarious. AEW fans, WWE fans, or as I call them, wrestling fans. JD from NY is a dumbass. Oh, that's what Dax said, taking a shot at JD. Yep. Stone Cold thinks AEW is dog. Okay? That cracked a Steve Weiser tried to put it on and Pockets came on and I said, I'm turning this on. What? So here we go. Proof from Burying Smarks. AEW has the worst acting I've ever seen. Why didn't she just step back? And this is when Hikaru Shida put like her fake sword up to Cameron, and Cameron's standing there like, and then Steve Austin liked the post on Instagram. AEW has the worst acting I've ever seen. Steve Austin liked it on his IG, man. So there you go. That's how he feels, dude. Eric Bischoff, though, speaking about him, Dan Nastro, this guy followed me. He's a producer for AEW. He followed me. He goes, Bischoff, I'm listening to your Grand Slam review. A big reason I work in TV wrestling. Yeah, he goes, a big reason I work in TV wrestling is because of your inspiration from the WCW days, and I get you're working the crowd on the podcast. No, he's not.
Not even a little
Damn,
bit.
your takes about AEW are disappointing. Bro, he's not working. I'm tired of this too. Oh, I know you're just working for the podcast trying to get clicks. Man, shut the up. Just have opinions and speaking from experience, and it's working for the podcast, but damn, your takes about AEW are disappointing. Bro, I know, and this guy followed me, so listens to PWT probably too, confirmed, but listen, the editing was brilliant tonight, Dan Nastro. You guys did a brilliant job. Or the editing. It wasn't live on the air editing. There is some of that, but it's also just the production in general. The aesthetic was great. You guys kicked ass. Smaller buildings. Dan, if you're listening, tell Tony, smaller buildings, stop coping about what Bischoff has to say. Love you, bud. Jay from Canada, shout him out, says, do they ever just shut up? I love the dismissal attitude for talent that either wants to leave or has issues with how they're being booked. And this Dav Boro again, king of outtakes. These whole Miro, Wardlow, Starks situations is essentially bench players who think they're starters type attitude. All affect nothing if they leave.
Ridiculous.
Bro, I can't wait for them to show up in WWE and just completely
if
bury
any of them had consistent booking, they could have had major runs in that company, and none of them did.
They'd be huge. And this guy goes, AEW is playing killing it right now. Everything is up, up, up. Tony was on WFAN, a local NY radio station, and said as much. WBD got this deal at the right time. Tony could have gotten them for $250 million if this was 2025. Congrats, AEW and Collision. Oh, man. Sick people. Yeah, here's the Rob of C Nation.
Yeah, I saw that.
He goes, Triple H book a black man to wrestle challenge. Here's all of his N bombs. I'm gonna take it off YouTube, but the people saying that book a black guy, look at their N words in their histories. My word,
the hard R too. It's a big difference.
Yes. Triple H's thought. Here's a throwback. Triple H's thought says, shout out to the IWC members like this for driving Kat Dennings off of this app. Never forget. And Kat Dennings goes, oh no, I think I love WWE. And this guy goes, that's disappointing. If it's the wrestling part, like you said, you should check out AEW.
I know that guy's face. He's given me before. I've gotten into spats with that idiot before.
Oh my gosh, we talked
whatever his name is, it's crossed out, but I know I've gotten into it with him. He's an idiot.
So Corey Brennan of Fightful.com says Bobby Lashley, Ricochet, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, Omos, Cedric Alexander, Apollo Crews, Carmelo Hayes have all been on the main roster since SummerSlam 23. You're telling me none of those talents deserve a singles match since SummerSlam 23? And it's funny because this guy's supposed to be a writer and he doesn't know you put the apostrophe before.
Yep.
The 23 when you're talking about a year. It's not the year. Like, I don't know where these guys went to school, but this guy goes, what is your explanation? Racism, not challenging you, but that's what it seems to imply. All these white dudes are yelling about racism in the WWE. Hilarious. Meanwhile, Tony Khan's the guy who paraded Swerve out there after a Miami Heat game. Never forget, on a dead show that was dead cold and everyone knew it was.
Unpaid Critic nails it. He said, a Fightful.com basically means weirdos with bad takes pretending to be a journalist. That is the best way of putting Fightful I've ever heard. That's dead ass. I gotta retweet that one. That's perfect.
Yes.
Unpaid Critic is funny.
So at MCU dude says, see, this is why people struggling to take wrestling media seriously when it comes to AEW. Is there any need for this added AEW praise in an article about an unhappy talent? Handling them with kids as gloves. Why is there the inherent need to coddle Tony? It's weird. So these guys are like, AEW's existence has objectively done a lot of good for the wrestling business, providing another viable option for wrestlers to ply their trade while earning major money in North America. But within any organization, there will always be those who end up unhappy. For a long time, reporting has suggested that Miro, formerly WWE's Rusev, has been displeased with his tenure in the promotion, and now it appears he wants out. So they always do that. They preface it by being like, yeah, this thing is so great, and if you don't think it's so great, you're a piece of, like, pretty much, right? And then they go,
yeah, no, 100%.
Weirdly, oddly, it's so weird. Miro wants out of here. Weird. It's like, no, you're weird.
100%. That's like everything. Like, oh, well, you can. I objectively wanted to learn about it. If you don't want to Google it, you're just or what. And then the things about she said about are you doing the Mercedes Modet dance? Or are you a toxic male? Like, Jesus, just stop. They immediately attack. It's always attack, and then when you clap back, it's oh, how could you dare attack me?
Yes, 100%. This guy, mostly wrestling, right? A big time goober. Says Jade Cargill left AEW because she thought WWE would help make her a mainstream star who would eventually transition into movies and video games. Meanwhile, in AEW. So, okay, MJF has a bit part in Adam Sandler's movie playing his kid in Happy Gilmore. Amazing. Super happy for him. But that'll be a bit role. Great. Samoa Joe's in a video game. Yeah, he's done this since he's been out of WWE, out of WWE, and in AEW. Camille Brick, this independent film that isn't Hollywood at all. It's the complete and utter opposite of Hollywood. Went to independent film festivals, and she did this movie before AEW. It's been sitting there for a while, and I don't know, where everyone's pumped. Like, since Trinity was out of WWE. Trinity's in this movie. Trinity
Wait,
fought
is it
Naomi.
the Mildred Burke movie?
Yes.
Liv Morgan's in it too.
Yes, bro. So
there's a WWE person. Yeah. So they just have
stupid.
no argument.
And then
this
AEW fans Latino America that Matt Hardy
God.
roasted. Everyone's roasted this idiot. He goes, karma will come to that woman for betraying the trust that Tony Khan placed in her. Tony did everything for that woman. So in the same week of signing with WWE, she spoke wonderfully about Tony Khan on the podcast. And in the end, I pay him like this.
What?
They're just coping over Jade. Like, dude, Jade could do all three of these. She could be Happy Gilmore's kid, be in a video game, and do this indie flick, and her being
Jade
in
was
WWE.
in a Super Bowl commercial.
Bro,
she was in a Super Bowl commercial. She's fine.
She's
completely
doing fine.
Jesus.
Don't have to worry about her.
Just sad.
Completely sad. Speaking of not sad, we have here Jay Uso. I got two hilarious videos. We'll end it with this one. Here's Tony Khan doing the Monet dance, the CEO dance, guy.
He's not even moving. His hair's hand go down. He's just like a double John Cena. What's he doing? Someone needs to supercut that, and then also when he did like the dick wiggle dance where he didn't move his arms either. Like what?
That never had spice in his life. What's the sitch? Do. I need like the Kim Possible for when you super chat it. For $10 says I'm black and I'm dead tired of white AEW fans. They ignore the black women and act like they care about black men, and they act like if Starks debuts in WWE, they wouldn't carelessly like call him slurs. Is what I think you're getting at. Yeah. So 100%. I agree. They're gonna turn on him. They're gonna hard R on him.
Yeah, they'd be burning their big blacked and jack shirts.
It never ceases to amaze me. And Paul Nolan, international traveling DJ extraordinaire of the world, doing incredible things right now. He pointed out all the time. He's like, dude, AEW shows are filled with just weird white people, dude. He's like,
totally.
Yeah, he's like, and they just don't. They're just exactly the audience you think. And yeah, you're saying, dude, you're dead tired of them white knighting, as it were. And I agree. Absolutely. I'm just tired of all this posture stuff. Just stop it. You know what I mean? Like, we're WWE so goddamn diverse. If you're gonna look at anybody, they're doing a Neo Moxley,
seriously
gimmick on AEW TV. Look at that and get offended by that. If anything, if we're gonna do, but that's why it's ramping up, because shows like this are pointing out to the masses they got a Neo Moxley on TV, bro. You know what I mean? Like, so we're pointing it out, so they're pushing back. It's what always happens. Same with the TV deal. Everyone was so unhinged today. Why? Because they were just waiting for anything, you know. And it's what's happening now.
TV deal took longer than Veer.
Oh, Triple H, they don't book a single black man. It's because Moxley's a Neo Moxley. And how do we spin this? How do we defend this? You can't, bitch, because Phil Marks is here, and I'm calling you out. Yeah, that was so cute. Tony Khan doing the Monet dance. Oh, actually, I shouldn't. I'll find it again. It'll be easy to find. And then here's one here. This cute kid getting super emotional because I want to end the sickos with something nice. Jey Uso wins the title, and this kid loses it. He starts like tearing up. It's what it's all about right here.
1, 2, 3.
Dude, that's what it's all about right there.
And that kid, that little part made Raw too. They showed that little clip. That's so awesome. That kid's a fan for the rest of his life.
Bro, yeah, that moment there. Like, I know that feeling, dude. I know that feeling, bro. That's like that moment. He'll never forget, like, dude, the day Jay won that IC title, man, on that Raw, he'll never forget that. The same way, like, just moments. Think about the moments, guys, when you were kids. Those little nuggets of, like, damn, I don't know. You could pull so many of them, like whether it's Hogan slamming Andre, or it's like Evolution turning on Randy Orton or whatever, you know, or Shawn Michaels achieving the boyhood dream, or like when Eddie Guerrero beat Brock Lesnar was a moment like that for me. When Benoit won at 20 was a moment, like when Danielson won at 30 was a moment like that. When Cody beat Roman was a moment like that. this was that kid's moment.
Absolutely.
That on a Raw, dude. I love that so much.
That kid to be 45 years old telling people about that's why Jey Uso was always his favorite growing up, right there for the rest of his childhood. That's awesome. You can't beat that.
Yeet. We got to give that kid a yeet for that. You buffoons were looking for negativity. What's sad is you dudes minimizing anything AEW. ALR. Bro, did you just tune into the show, you dumb? After I put the Dynamite over and I said it looks so great tonight and they need to run smaller buildings and the production's better. And we had Awful on who said, I took the L. I was wrong. And you hear me saying I was 100% right about what their TV deal was. Literally to a T. And then we had two people come on and say, we were 100% wrong. Are you just tuning in, ALR? Watch the replay, youtube.com/@prowrestletimes and youtube.com/@prowrestletimes.